Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I hope you're all having a fantastic first day of summer officially. I bet it is toasty where you guys are. I believe it's triple digits again for like the sixth day here in Austin. So I am hibernating inside. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ali Zosos. I'm a registered dietitian and leading our YouFit times EatLove regular monthly discussion today on eating for all day energy. I was really drawn to this topic, especially for this time of year because of the heat and because our energy levels may not be as high as we want them to be because of the heat. And we want to make sure that we are eating distribution of our carbs, our protein, our fat, and other specific micronutrients across the day, making the most bang for our buck, make sure our performance nutrition is up to par. And that we can enjoy the summer because this is without a doubt the best time of year in my mind, maybe not your guys's, but who does not love the warm summer weather and we have vacations. So how do we maximize that with our food? This is our first line of defense, as we always talk about. So I just want to run a quick poll before we jump in because I know we have lots of different YouFit members joining us, maybe even prospective members. So I wanted to just run a poll on what type of YouFit membership you guys have. I know these webinars are open to every single one, even prospective who are looking to become a member. It's a really high level value add. So just think about what you get when you join the YouFit community. Amazing. I usually see a good bit of basic, premium, premium plus. Amazing. So anyone with premium plus that is watching, everything I talk about today in terms of what EatLove does, you already have access to. You may already have a profile. If not, you can click on the app. I believe there's also a landing page to retrieve your invite. You create the profile and you will start to receive automated meal inspiration for every eating occasion. I'm talking recipes. I'm talking restaurants. We have over 180 popular North American chains. Think things like Starbucks and Chipotle and Cava, where you're like, I don't know how to eat at these restaurants. Or if I eat at these restaurants, I'm doing a disservice to my health, which is false. You can make the conscious choice to choose something that fits in your nutrition profile and still eat towards your health goals. So everyone with Premium Plus, you already have access to this. Our basic and premium people, you can always upgrade to a Premium Plus. I believe it's $10 more a month from a premium membership where you get on-demand classes, you get HIT Plus as well. So it is truly a bang for your buck for the cool extra $10 a month. And for our prospective members, joining that Premium Plus will also get you access as well. If you haven't already, we also have a wonderful Facebook group that we post recipes of the month, and we talk about vegetables and fruits and foods of the month. So we highlight new things and talk about, from a nutrition perspective, how you can maximize your intake. So I will close that poll. I have a couple others that I will ask a little bit later. But without further ado, let's get started with our slides. We have a lot to cover in our short amount of time, and I also want to save about 5 to 7 minutes to do a quick demo as well if you have some time. So let's talk about eating all day for our energy needs. We already shared that we are going to learn how to boost our energy, support our performance, learn how to create energy maintenance throughout the day with meal planning and why that is important. Learn how to snack with a purpose, which goes along perfectly with a post that I had just put in Facebook right before our meeting today. I believe it's a very berry yogurt, very nutrient dense, has lots of lots of protein, healthy fats. We're going to have some fiber from the fruit. And then we'll talk about YouFit's in-house nutrition program with EatLove. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about ways to boost our energy and support our performance through food. There's about 8 of these tips. And what I love about this and what I love about sharing this information with you, that as a dietitian, I can share all the information in the world. You could even go to the internet and find similar things to these points. But what I challenge all 25 of you live watching right now is to think about what action needs to take place for you to start this train, this health journey train, this lifestyle change train, because that is where you're going to see the benefit. You can absorb all the information. We tend to do this when we're not truly ready to make those changes, where we're just lifelong learners, but the actionable items tend to be a little bit more difficult. So I want to challenge all of you today that after you take some screenshots of these pictures, we will be sending out the recording shortly after, but think about ways you are not doing some of these points. Where does that challenge lie? Does the challenge lie with this first point, prioritize complex carbs? Do you not have complex carbs at your fingertips? Meaning, what does your pantry look like? Do you have beans and whole grains on hand? If not, it's going to be really hard to prioritize complex carbs. So how do we fill that gap? Maybe redo a pantry makeover. And there's probably a lot of pantry makeovers we can do with these 8 tips, but let's start with prioritize complex carbs. And as always, guys, if you have any questions throughout our topic, just feel free to put it in our message box below, and I will get to as many questions as possible. But prioritizing our complex carbs, these are things like whole grains. If you're not sure what a whole grain is and you pick up an item at the grocery store and it would be like a starchy carb, look at that ingredient label and look for the word whole in that first ingredient, whole wheat, whole grain, and it may give some more down the line. But as long as that first ingredient has whole at the beginning, you know that the product you are holding most likely is a whole grain. So things like ancient grains like quinoa and buckwheat and those types of grains, those are whole grains as well. But the more common ones we're going to find in brown rice, wild rice, legumes, starchy vegetables like root vegetables, so potatoes, sweet potatoes, that sort of thing. These are going to provide a steady release of energy to help maintain our blood sugars, preventing our energy crashes. Now, we're going to talk about each of the macros on this page here. Proteins are next, and then omega-3s are at the bottom, which are healthy fats. But always remember when you're building your healthy plate that you want a balance of all of these carbs. I hear all the time as a dietitian, it's, well, my doctor told me to avoid carbs because I have diabetes and I'm, struggling to manage that. The goal is not to avoid your carbohydrates. You fully need carbohydrates to function. Your brain and body prefer that source of energy fuel, but it's that mismatched balance that can create some of these health conditions long-term, these chronic health conditions that can be a precursor to larger conditions like heart disease. So we need to find that perfect balance, and that perfect balance can start with prioritizing whole grains. So making simple swaps. If you're a fan of white rice, try 50% of the time swapping it with a whole grain option. You're going to get a bit more fiber. You're going to get some B vitamins. It's going to be helpful for your heart and your brain. Looking at the next point, which is including our lean proteins, lean sources like poultry, fish, eggs, tofu, legumes. Legumes are a dual bonus right here. It's going to be a complex carb and a protein. Dairy is also one of my favorites. Will also contribute all 3 of those macros. So complex carbs, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These are going to be essential, of course, for muscle growth and repair. And this is super important if you are in that gym on a daily basis, making sure you are on your gym grind. You want to replenish those muscles as much as possible without overdoing it as well. So making sure that when you do have your next meal after your lift or your run or your workout class, you want a balance of all of those macros present. Staying hydrated is one thing that we cannot forget to do during this during the summer heat here. So drinking enough water throughout the day. I am no shortage of tips and tricks for having water at all times of the day. One of my favorite, and I'm doing a horrible example right now, is that I've been on meetings for the last 2 hours, so I did not get to replenish my water, but usually I have a full glass of water at my desk at an arm's reach away. That is how I'm making sure I'm getting, I don't know how many of these I get a day, 3, 3.5, 4. And it makes it really easy to stay hydrated because dehydration is going to lead to that fatigue and decreased performance. The next one is incorporating those healthy fats. And specifically, I want to talk about the omega-3 fatty acids here that are found in fatty fish. Fatty fish are going to be the fish with a little bit of color to them. So salmon, mackerel, tuna, the ones that are pink and red, that is going to have the EPA and the DHA fatty acids that help our brain, help reduce inflammation. If you are managing any type of heart disease or precursors to heart disease, these are going to be the best fats for you in terms of controlling any sort of symptom and making sure that you're getting enough of the good stuff in your diet. The nuts and seeds side of things, there is another version of omega-3s, and that's the ALA version, the alpha-linoleic acid. They're great. They are the most prevalent in any one of our diets watching today, most likely. But the conversion to ALA to the desired EPA and DHA is pretty insignificant. It's not a very efficient process. So that's why getting at least 1 serving of fish on a weekly basis, the fatty fish, white fish is very similar to like chicken and turkey. It's very lean, but there's not a whole lot going on in terms of the omega-3s. So if you guys are looking for fun fish recipes, we have a ton of salmon. I think we have more salmon than pork or beef in our platform. So there's a lot of interesting ways to get that. And my favorite in there is a salmon cake. That is, if you are new to fish and you are struggling with the taste and the texture, I'm right there with you. I was like that for 27 years of my life. Starting out with something that's a little bit more palatable. I can hide some of those things in there. Salmon cakes are a really wonderful way to start that. You can whip up a nice Greek yogurt aioli to go with it. So the next couple options is going to be consume iron-rich foods. So consuming iron-rich foods, iron is vital for oxygen transport in the body, includes lean meats, leafy greens. Our leafy greens, like our dark leafy greens, our spinach, our kales. Our iceberg lettuce is not going to fit the bill on this one. Even just our regular lettuce is not going to have the amount of iron that we're looking for, which is about 18 milligrams a day for women. For men, it's a little bit lower, I believe. And then, of course, fortified cereals and beans. Beans come into play again. One of the most superfoods that you can incorporate into your diet. It's going to help to maintain energy levels long term. And, of course, eating regularly. I'm actually going to save this one for the next slide. So let's talk about limit added sugars and including energy boosting foods. And then we'll talk about some meal planning. Limit adding sugar. So sugary snacks are going to lead to that crash. Like we talked about, if you're managing any type of conditions that are endocrine related, an imbalance of sugar to other macronutrients can be a reason why blood sugars are sustained long term. So if you are having something that is more processed than usual, or you're having like a cookie or a cinnamon roll, which I had the other day, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've had. I haven't been craving a cinnamon roll for months now. I want to eat that with something that's going to balance out my response to it so I don't crash and burn. So it's totally okay to have these. We just want to eat them in moderation. And EatLove is going to show you what that moderation looks like. It's about 25 grams of added sugar a day for women and 36 grams a day for men, which is not a lot. When we really get back down to it, the Greek yogurt I had this morning had 13 grams of added sugar. My coffee creamer had 2 grams of added sugar. And it's only because I had partially the serving size. So it adds up quickly. So be aware and be mindful of where these added sugars can be hiding in your day-to-day life. It could be your yogurt, could be your milk, it could be any breads that you have. There are some very popular brands out there that have added sugars in their breads, and it's for the process of cooking bread, but still helpful to be reminded of where those added sugar sources are coming from, because you wouldn't expect it from some of these places. And then you add a cookie or you add a sweetened beverage on top of it, and before you know it, you're double, triple times really where you want it to be that day. The last one on this page is to include energy boosting foods. So these foods are going to known to enhance energy levels. Another superfood category in my mind is berries. Brain health, gut healthy. There's so many different types of berries: blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, all the berries, dark chocolate, green tea, nuts, bananas. All of these things at the end of the day are plants. So when we're looking at our plate, our whole plate, our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner, if we can say that this plate, first and foremost, where are our carbs and protein and fat coming from? Can I point to every single piece on here and identify my macronutrient? That's step number one. Step number two is to say, is 75% of this plate plants? So for example, my breakfast this morning was a banana. It was a slice of Ezekiel bread, some olive oil, and some cream cheese with some Greek seasoning. So I can say, yes, the bread was a plant because of the grains. I can say the banana, of course, was a plant. I had olive oil on that plate as well. And I had herbs. The only thing that wasn't a plant was my cream cheese. Absolutely. That's 75% plants on my dish. So when you are looking at it in terms of plants versus non-plants and that proportion, you're going to be doing a really good job. So let's briefly talk about eating regularly and what this means for sustained energy throughout the day. Now, the most common thing that I hear is that someone is not eating breakfast because they're not a breakfast person. It's usually I'm going to call it an excuse that I hear all the time. I'm not a breakfast person, or I don't have time for breakfast in the morning. My body doesn't even ask for breakfast anymore. It's because, and I'm picking on breakfast here, and this may not be you at all, but since it comes up, it's important to talk about that breakfast. If you are not eating breakfast, your body's going to stop asking you for breakfast. You're going to not feel hungry because you haven't had that hunger cue, because you stopped listening to it a while ago. You hid that response because you didn't listen to your body when your body stopped telling you about that response. In fact, if you are someone that does not eat breakfast and you say after this webinar, tomorrow I'm going to eat breakfast, you will probably feel more hungry after that meal than you do when you don't eat breakfast, and you may think something is wrong. It is not wrong. It's just the first time that you are listening to your body, and those hunger and satiety cues are saying, hey, thanks for the fuel. I want a little bit more so I can keep my energy up through the rest of the day. And it's going to help blood sugar maintenance. So how do we create that energy maintenance throughout the day? Is first and foremost, create consistent meal times. Whether you are not a breakfast person or you are a breakfast person, don't go longer than 4 hours between a meal or a snack, making sure that you are getting some sort of energy, because calories at the end of the day are energy. And if you are on a weight loss journey and you are on a very low calorie diet and you're only doing that for the weight loss piece of it, it's not enough why for me. It's not enough why for you to continue going down that route if you are not meeting your baseline energy needs. 1,200 calorie diets are very popular. They're very much in the diet culture space, diet culture being things that are very hurtful and harmful to our progress forward. So if this sounds like you, I don't know any of you out there listening, but if this sounds like you, think about it for a second and say, is this worth the energy crash that I'm feeling? Am I actually losing weight? Probably not. Probably on a plateau because you're not giving your body enough calories to begin with. But you want to get enough calories, but you can do so in a moderate portion size by including snacks, prepping for success, and keeping it simple. So let's talk about my favorite meal planning tips. These are tried and true. I do these on a weekly basis. And I think they will help all of you out there today as well. So the first one is to cut and chop your fruit and vegetables ahead for the week. So say you get home from the grocery store or you're utilizing EatLove and you're getting your groceries delivered online because you can. We just added Whole Foods as well. Is to come home and prep those. So there's strawberries going in this fridge right here. What I want to do with that, because while strawberries are wonderful, I have to wash them. I have to cut off the top, and I probably want to slice them just to make it really easy on myself this week. And I want to preserve them because they're a berry and they do not last forever. We know this. So what I'm going to do when I come home is wash them in the container. I'm going to take them out of the container, dab them dry. I'm going to remove the green stem, and then I'm going to slice them in half, and I'm going to put them in a Tupperware container with a watery like a paper towel at the bottom. So that way they stay fresh, they stay good. You can also do so with like a vinegar or a lemon juice. That's also going to help preserve it long-term in the fridge. But I've just cut down a 10-minute barrier that would prohibit me from reaching for strawberries in the morning because I have to hop on a business call or something like that. Now everything is prepared and done, and I can grab and go very simply. Same thing with vegetables. Say you're having a big salad for dinner and the barrier is chopping 4 to 5 different vegetables. Maybe you're a family of 5. That is a lot of vegetables to chop. And me, that would be a barrier. I'd look at it and I'm like, do we really need a salad for dinner? Let's try something else. And what's going to happen is that vegetable is going to go into food waste and you're never going to see it again. So preparing your fruits and vegetables ahead of the week is going to cut down significantly your prep time. It's going to cut down that barrier and that sense of doubt that you're like, do I actually want to do this? Well, yeah, I want to do this because I bought this to better my health. And I'm removing that time in the week when I know I may feel a little bit too tired after work to do an extra 15, 20 minutes of just prep time. The next tip is one of my favorites, is to double your grains. Whether you are using frozen brown rice, because that is a thing now that I'm obsessed with. I'm actually making it for lunch today. And I'm going to have it for 3 days, even though it's only takes me 10 minutes to prep it. I don't want to do that every day this week. I don't have 10 minutes to sit on top of a stove for lunch. I want to use those 10 minutes to add to another 10 minutes to enjoy my lunch versus just trying to shove it through my face and get on with the day. So what your grain is on Monday, make that your grain for Tuesday or Tuesday and Wednesday. So if it's brown rice, salmon, and asparagus on Monday, make your dish chicken, green beans, and brown rice on Tuesday. You're utilizing the same grain because of those components of your meal. That brown rice is going to take the longest. It's going to take significantly longer than it takes to cook your salmon. It's going to take significantly longer than it takes to cook your green beans or your asparagus. So we're going to limit that prep time, and I'm going to double the batch, and I'm going to use it for 2 or 3 dinners. Leverage rotisserie chicken, canned tuna for simple proteins. These are things that you can keep in your pantry, that lean protein option. Not the rotisserie chicken. You do want to refrigerate that. But again, you want to break down that rotisserie chicken when you get home. You want to make it easy for you to add this chicken to your sandwiches, your wraps, your soups even. If I said salads, yes. Even like the star of a chicken stir fry. You already have the chicken ready to go and you add it after your vegetables are cooked and your brown rice is reheated from the night before. And then lastly, keeping beans, nuts, and seeds on hand to elevate the nutrition of any dish. Easy pantry items. Build this slowly. Nuts are really expensive. They're like $12 a bag. So when you are utilizing EatLove and you look for snack ideas, you may see one day is going to ask for sunflower seeds, the next day is going to ask for walnuts. Can you use one for both of those snacks? Absolutely. It's very comparable in terms of nutrition, and it's going to help you build your pantry in parts, which at the end of the day is the best way to have a lot of these foods on hand and more variety. That way you can grab them and go whenever you need to. So let's talk about snacking with a purpose real quick, and then we'll go back to how EatLove can fit into this whole picture. So snacking with a purpose, same as your meals, you want to make sure that your macros are present as much as possible. So choose nutrient dense options and combine your macronutrients. Now also be mindful of the portions and the control that way. One thing I do want to call out here is the difference between the nutrition facts label and what a portion size is. Portion and serving size are often used interchangeably, but they are in fact two different things. A serving size is what's on a nutrition facts label. Now they did redo serving sizes, I believe last January in 2022 to be more reflective, actually might have been 2021, to be more reflective of what an actual portion size of an individual who's going to sit down and eat the snack. But right now, nutrition facts labels uniform similar products that you can compare them more strategically. You can say, oh, this bread for this bread, what is the difference between them? Or this cereal for this cereal, this milk for this milk. It makes it very easy to compare like items. And your portion size may be bigger than the serving size. And that's okay. And also to prioritize fiber. So when we are combining our macronutrients, if you are leveraging the points that we talked about today and that energy boost all day long, if we are getting complex carbs, we're getting fiber. If we are getting pretty much complex carbs, we are getting fiber that way. If we are getting complex carbs, are pretty much going to be any type of fruit, vegetable, and whole grain, bean, legume option. Those are our high fiber foods, 100%. So remember, pair them together. So if I'm looking at these eggs, I may want to pair the eggs with a side of crackers. And I don't want crackers to be the star. I want the egg to be the star. This is 7 grams of protein. It has about 5 grams of fat as well. And I want 6 Triscuits. I think that'd be a great snack. If I'm looking at nuts on this hand, I know nuts have protein and fat. I just need a little bit of a carb in there. Maybe I want to pair it with a piece of fruit. That's going to give me some carb. If I'm looking at nut butter down here, I want to pair this peanut butter with a banana. I could even do the whole banana sandwich with the Ritz crackers. Absolutely. I would have 2 carb choices here. So it depends on what your goals are and what the limit looks like for you. But those would be my go-to options and pieces for snacking with a purpose. Before I move over to talk about nutrition on a different level, I just want to run a poll to see how often are you stressed about meal times? Always, sometimes, or never? It's usually pretty natural for either an always or a sometimes response, for sure. Yeah, 68% sometimes, and then 21% always, a couple for never. So that's awesome, you guys. I will full-heartedly say that, yes, I get stressed about mealtime too. Absolutely. If I don't plan for the week, funny quick story, I went to the beach this weekend and I did my meal planning at like 9 p.m. Monday night because I did not have the brain capacity apparently to do it on a Saturday. We were dealing with some jellyfish stings. So by the time we came back down to reality and realized that we still needed to meal plan, it was Sunday. It was actually Monday night. Yeah, Monday night. And I'm I'm going through my process to add everything to my cart, and I'm so turned around and confused. I have no idea what day it is. I actually thought it was Sunday when I was meal planning. I'm like, why am I adding this to the different day? And it threw off my entire week because I did not have my groceries at my door when we came home from the beach Monday morning. Just to say that, yeah, I can get stressed about mealtime too. Absolutely. So how do we minimize some of those stressful pieces? Well, usually the stress is coming from, I don't know what to feed my family. I don't know how to eat for my health goals. How do I eat on the go? What does my nutrition look like? Like, what is my intake even made up of? And I still have to find time to shop for all of this. What EatLove does is it's going to be your personalized nutrition guide for 24/7 every eating occasion. This is going to show you on-demand inspiration. Think of it as Spotify. Think of your favorite Spotify artist that was in your Warped 2022 last year, your top artist, and think about similar musicians and music that is shown to you based on that. EatLove works the same way. So say you're favoriting this chicken, mozzarella, flatbread, and kiwi. We're going to show you similar things like it. We're going to recommend it more in your feed. and everything is going to fit your nutrition profile and all of the templates that we have. So believe it or not, we do have an increased energy template. We have about 30, 35 nutrition templates and health goals. So if you're managing a certain chronic condition, we may have those as well. I believe we have prediabetes and diabetes on there, high cholesterol, hypertension. Weight loss will be paired to anything. So if it's weight loss and something else, always go something else, because you can partner weight loss with anything, because it is a calorie deficit at the end of the day. So under here, you would see an increasing energy prescription, and you would only see things that match your unique nutrition profile, your macros, your calorie ranges, how many fruits and vegetable servings we recommend for you on a daily basis. Everything fits that profile, so you can truly just focus on what looks good in the moment. What can I eat that tastes good? What restaurant can I go to? We have over 127 popular restaurant chains, including Starbucks, including Chipotle, that helps you build your burrito bowl, helps you get your favorite order down before you head off to work in the morning, complete with grocery delivery, food analysis, and tracking. Of course, our private Facebook group and our monthly webinars, this great community as well. So I do want to share my screen a bit and show a little bit on that side. Delia, thanks so much. I'm so glad you guys are having fun. I'm going to flip over to this side with just a couple of minutes that we have left today. And I want to show you what the feed looks like. So if I scroll over to here for breakfast, this is my slotted breakfast for tomorrow. Now you'll notice things in here that don't really require a recipe. This wouldn't require a recipe. This is like a component meal, but I can point to all of these items on here and tell you where my protein, fat, and carbs are coming from. I have my Greek yogurt. That's going to be my protein and my fat. I have chia seeds, also protein, fat, and fiber. Granola is going to be mostly a carbohydrate that looks like there's some nuts in this one. And then our banana is going to be a carbohydrate. So I have everything in here, and I'll be able to see the nutrition analysis down here. And this is a robust breakfast. This is a perfect breakfast for someone who is not a breakfast person. Very nutrient dense, has a ton of fiber, a ton of protein to keep you alert through the day. Carbs are managed. In the world of dietetics, we would call this a 3-carb exchange meal, which is a pretty standard basic meal for everyone, even those managing diabetes and prediabetes, and a good calorie range as well. So this is a pretty solid breakfast. And this is what you're going to see with the meal plans and the meal recommendations that we give you. Very easy to go, on the go things. And I just wanted to show you how cool the restaurant meal options were. If I wanted to go to Sweet Green for dinner, I have all of these options that tell me exactly what's going to match my nutrition prescription. My nutrition prescription being, this one is set for a general healthy diet, and I can change it at any time if I wanted to try something else. Here are the ones that are available. And here is my unique nutrition profile. So it's only going to show me things that match this criteria. So I truly don't have to worry about, as the user, as the member, you truly only have to worry about what looks good. What do I want to eat? Because everything else matches. And maybe you say you want to go this easy pita pocket dinner, and you want to add that to your grocery cart. Maybe you're on the treadmill cooling down after your lift, and you add a couple dishes to your grocery cart, and you hit order while you're cooling down, and a couple hours later they're at your front door because you've just done online delivery, and you can do that directly through the portal right here. You can get your grocery list. You can check off things that you already have so you don't over purchase. Highly recommend to shop your fridge and pantry first. Condense where you can. If it's asking for a couple different breads, do you have bread first and foremost? Can you use the bread that you have? Do you have an old vegetable that you can swap for a different vegetable for next week to reduce food waste? And then if you are someone that enjoys tracking your food, we're going to be fully comprehensive to give you a full nutrition analysis report and breakdown that will show you exactly what you need to work on if you do log your food. It makes it really easy to log food that's projected, or you can just add a simple meal, a simple dish via our foods database, which we have 300,000 items. And we also have a barcode scanner. If the barcode scanner fails, you can use the AI label reader that will read the picture and just log it for you. So you don't have to worry about manually logging anything. But I want to pause there and come back into our session and see if we had any questions for today before I let you go. We are right at time, but happy to answer one or two if you guys have any further questions. Before you do jump off, oh, we already talked about it. So everyone on this call is going to know about our in-house nutrition program. Amazing. I'll wait a couple of more seconds here. Sometimes there is a bit of delay. Amazing. Well, I hope you all have a really great rest of your day. If you guys need anything, I will be back sometime in June with some special activity that we do as a collab again. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support line. Or if you are looking to add EatLove to your membership, check out your home gym for more information on signing up. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.